Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. What's going on, everybody? Today's Friday, another great day, man. Another great day to be alive, great day to be sober, in spirituality and recovery. It's just awesome. But before we get this video podcast started, if you would please join me in a moment of silence, followed by a serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers and anyone in the struggle. So if you would please, moment of silence. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, wisdom to know the difference. All right, well, let's get started. Man, so how's it going, everybody? It's going pretty good, man. Today's been a great day. I was I had a few things that I had to go do today. One of the things that I did today was. Besides keeping my appointments over at the VA, I had a music therapy to go to today. So that's one of the things that I'm incorporating in my daily routine, weekly routine, if you will, because I go every week, and it's music therapy that I go to, and it's provided by the VA, and it's really great, man. I never thought that attending a music therapy would be just, really therapeutic and really helpful for my, daily life and my recovery. You know what I mean? And it's great. But the topic I wanted to talk to you guys about today is the topic of a burning desire. And I was reading this book, and it's a book by Napoleon Hill, and it's called Think and Grow Rich. Very good book. I'm not completely done with it, but the parts that the time that I have read it and the chapters that I have read have been very insightful, man, a lot of trueness to that book. And there's a part in that book that talks about burning desire, and I relate that to not only in the context of what I'm reading in the book, but also in my personal life, and having that burning desire. And I wrote down a few notes, and I wanted to share them with you guys, just to kind of give you a little bit of what it is that a burning desire could be, and how it can help you, and perhaps in your recovery, and you dealing with situations of everyday life, whether it's you don't want to be mad so much, or you don't want to be sad so much, or you want to get out of this depression, or you want to kick this addiction, or maybe you're looking to get you want a relationship, or you want to work on the one that you got, or you want to get more you want your financial situation to improve in your life, and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? So it can be used in all aspects of life, and in that retrospect. So it's a burning desire. You can have a thought, for example, right? And the thought can be just anything, really. Anything that you're that you want in life. You know what I mean? So let's just say, for example, you want to have a better, you want to have more money. Let's just say that. And or you want to kick the addiction. Let's use that for example. Okay, now it's one thing to want to kick the addiction and just saying it mentally to yourself or out loud every day. You can say it 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. Man, I gotta stop doing drugs, man. I gotta stop drinking, or I gotta stop smoking. And you could say that 1,000,000 times, and nothing happens. You know what I mean? But when you put a burning desire behind that statement, then it turns into energy. Then it turns into movement. And I wrote down burning desire. When you put the burning desire behind that thought, and you will put movement to that desire, and to be it's it's true. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to say it, but I just for example, I'm at a meeting one time, and it's an AA meeting, and this guy, his name's Greg, and he goes up there and he's saying his story, yada yada, right? And at the end of the story, he tells, or during the story or whatever, he makes a statement that I always remember, and he's like, you know what? If you do nothing, then guess what? Nothing happens. And that's so true to me, because you can say and think all you want about not doing drugs or not, drinking alcohol, or not getting so angry as you do, or not, being so sad, or not being in this depression. You can say it freaking million times and still find yourself in that misery. You know what I mean? But the very first time that you put desire behind that, when you put a burning desire behind that statement, man, it starts to work something in you. You know what I mean? You start getting this purpose, if you will, and it's they give this scenario of you need to have you got to be precise on what you want, to be definite in this, to be so definite in what you want, saying, okay, well, I want to stop doing it. I don't want to be mad anymore. I don't want to do drugs anymore. Okay. And then you have to be definite and not saying, oh, well, I just want to, stop smoking and stop doing meth, but smoking weed and drinking beer, that's okay, because I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with smoking cigarettes and doing meth, but I don't have a problem with drinking, so I'll just keep doing that. Okay, it's got to be definite. You know what I mean? It's got to be precise. It's got to be definite. And then you have to determine you have to determine that, and then you have to ask yourself, okay, you gotta be precise in that, and then be precise that, okay, well, if I get this, if I attain this, then what am I going to give back? You know what I mean? Because when you manifest something into the existence, you can't just manifest it and get it and expect it to stay. You know what I mean? You have to. There's a give and take in this scenario here. You know what I mean? If I want recovery, then what is it that I'm going to have to give back? Well, then you know what? For me personally, it's giving back time. Giving back time and sharing the message with somebody like I'm doing today. That's what I'm giving back, because if I'm going to get the recovery, spirituality, the positivity, if I'm going to get that life, then guess what? I'm going to have to give something in return. And for me, it's giving away what has helped me along the way to get here today. You know what I mean? It's determining what it is that you're going to have to give back. Okay, and then give yourself a timeline. When you put a precise timeline on something, then that means there's action to be done. You're going to have to do something to get to that point. You know what I mean? That means that burning desire is you're going to get there in this amount of time, because now you got the desire to do it. Now your actions, your motivation, your thought process, everything is going to be working to that goal. You know what I mean? And then create a plan and create a plan. Whether write down the plan of what it is that you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and whether you're ready or not, start doing it. You know what I mean? Because if you're waiting for a certain feeling or for a certain time, I hear this all the time. You know what I mean? I hear people say, you know what? I gotta stop smoking. You know what? But or I gotta stop drinking. I don't want to do drugs no more. But you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna, next month I'm gonna give it a shot. You know what I mean? And then the next month they're doing the same thing. Well, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot back then, or I'll wait until it's New Year's, and I'll do that for my New Year's resolution. Or I'll wait until it's the Catholic thing where it's Lent, and then you're gonna give up something for the amount of Lent until Easter. A lot of people do that, and they're always putting it off. Procrastinating about the desire of what they know is being an obstacle in their life and keeping them bound down to this, addiction to this, certain feeling or whatever it is that's an obstacle in your life. People are always looking for that reservation, this excuse to stay there, because nobody wants. A lot of people, they don't like change. You know what I mean? They want to be in their little comfort box, if you will. You know what? You have to get out of that box. You know what I mean? If you want something to happen for you, you want something to change, you have to change. You know what I mean? For me personally, man, I had to change my whole identity. You know what I mean? I had to get out of the box and get out of the environment I was in. I had to stop dealing with the people I was dealing with. I had to move away from the area of town where I was living in. I had to do all of that stuff. And in return, I had to say, you know what? I'm going to go to a meeting. I'm going to do a podcast video to help somebody out. I'm going to go to a peer support group. I'm going to go to this music therapy class. That's what I'm going to give back in return, for giving me my sobriety, for giving me a life, for giving me spirituality, for positivity, this mindset of mindfulness and enlightenment, and to help people. You know what I mean? So after creating the plan and starting it, whether you think you're ready or not, then writing a statement of that desired plan and that burning desire, and then phrasing that thing and saying it, once, twice, 2 times in the morning, 2 times before you go to sleep. And as you're saying it, believing it, that it's already in existence, believing that it already happened, believing that you're sitting here already in that spot. You know what I mean? Because when you rewire your brain to do something like that, man, that desire, that burning desire starts getting real. You know what I mean? It starts getting real. And there's movement into that energy, believe it or not. You know what I mean? There's movement in that energy, and there's movement in those thought processes like that, because you're manifesting something that you want that's positive. I can guarantee you, man, when you do this stuff on a daily basis, on a repetitive basis, then that's exactly what you're going to get in return. You know what I mean? And just know that the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. And then when it comes, it's going to come, and it's going to flow at a pace that you may not be ready for. So be ready for that. You know what I mean? When I started doing this podcast and I started, involving myself in all these, recovery communities, if you will, and faith-based communities, I didn't know what to expect. You know what I mean? But what I found out is that I got this burning desire that just came to me to want to help somebody. And it just my mind all day long constantly is thinking of what to talk about. What am I going to do in my podcast today? Or where can I go to volunteer to help somebody? If I see somebody in the street, I'm mindful of just a lot of things now. You know what I mean? Because I've been there. And I've been in that struggle. I've been in that depressed mode. I've been in that suicidal thought mode. I've been in that addictive mode. I've been in that sad mode. You know what I mean? I've been in that anger mode. And I know that it brought me nothing but negative and a life of just dark misery. And, I know that I love what I'm doing today. You know what I mean? And my goals and my aim and my ambition is it goes beyond. You know what I mean? I got a lot of goals that I got, and I do something every day to get closer to that goal. You know what I mean? One of my goals, just to let you know, is to have back here in this wall or wherever I'm doing the podcast, wherever my office may be, or in the future, I want to have a couple of those YouTube plaques up there. Them silver and gold YouTube plaques. That's just me. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. I want to have those because I know that's one of my goals, because I know that if I have those hanging on the wall, that means I've reached an X amount of people. Somebody somewhere in the world heard my message. And that is the service work for me, is that I need somebody to hear it. Because somebody may need to hear it. You know what I mean? Just like I needed to hear a message at a meeting one day that got me 10 years of sobriety. You know what I'm saying? So it's I don't know, it's just this goal, this desire that I have, and that's why I do what I do. You know what I mean? And but yeah, I just wanted to kind of just talk to you guys today about a burning desire, and you know, putting a burning desire behind those positive thoughts that you're having. Whatever it is that you want to change in your life, whether it's getting closer to your spiritual being, getting one with yourself in nature, or getting, you know, in line with the energies of the cosmos and Mother Earth, you know what I mean? If that's what your burning desire is, you can do it. You just have to have that burning desire and follow these steps to get there, and know that you can get there. Because there's a lot of times that people, you know, want to do stuff and they start doing this plan of action, but because it's not going to their quote unquote timeline, then they give up. And you know, in one of those stories that in that book that I'm reading, there's a story in there that this guy was had this burning desire at one point to go and dig for gold, and he went and found gold, and went back to his community and say, "Man, I found gold, man, and I need money. I need these machines so that we can, you know, get the mother lode." And they went, and he convinced all these people to hook him up with some money. We got these machines. And they went and they had this whole operation, and they attained some money and had enough money through the gold to pay for the machinery and pay back the debt. But then it stopped. There was no more gold. They ran out, you know, wherever they were mining. So they gave up. And they sold the equipment. Well, that person that they sold the equipment to wound up hired an engineer to give him an analysis of the land or whatever, and the guy's like, yeah, there's these fault lines in this ground, and there's gold there, you just have to dig a little deeper. You know what I mean? Had that guy, the previous guy, not given up and had that burning desire not fade away, you know what I mean? Because he started getting gold, then there's no more for that, you know, while they were digging, then he lost the burning desire. His flame faded out. You know, his desire, his flame of desire faded out. And if he had just collected himself together and said, you know what, we're going to keep moving. Let's dig a little bit more. But you know what? Where they stopped and the new guy came and dug, after having the engineer evaluate the place, he dug 3 feet. Was all 3 feet and hit the mother lode. You know what I mean? So you know, it may not be the time that you want it, but if you keep going and you keep positive and you believe that you're already there, I can guarantee you it's going to happen. Guaranteed. Not one time has anyone ever manifested a positive action through a positive mindset and not got it. You know what I mean? And if you're just thinking negatively, guess what? If you're thinking negatively and expecting a positive outcome, a positive manifestation, guess what? That's not going to happen. It will never happen. You'll sit there with the freaking wheel spinning like a hamster in that wheel. You're just going to keep moving and moving and moving and moving, and you'll never get there. I can guarantee you that. But if you think positively, if you have that positive mindset, and if you say those things on a repetitive basis every single day, do little macro management of those things every single day, I can guarantee you, you'll get that end result that you're looking for. You'll eventually get there. I can guarantee you that. And so, yeah, just, burning desire, putting a burning desire behind those positive thoughts, I can guarantee you, man, you'll be getting somewhere a whole lot, totally different and better place than you are sitting today. Guaranteed. And, many people have done it. You know what I mean? And I personally, I do a lot of research on these people who have been there, who have gotten 50 years of recovery, who have gotten millions of dollars. You know what I mean? And all what these people, have all these successes, and what all these people have in common is that they had this aimed vision, a personal desire, and no matter what it took, they were going to get there. And they stopped at nothing until they got it. And it started with that burning desire, that mental thought in a positive and successful way. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys today, and as you just see what you think, man. Maybe you'll put it in use in one of the things that you're doing in your recovery today, or in your financial situation today, or in your, mental state today. You know what I mean? So, so I just wanted to share that with you guys and hope that, maybe it helps somebody out today. And I really appreciate you guys watching my video podcast. I really do. And at this time, man, I'd like for you guys to give me a thumbs up, hit that like button, hit the bell, or just, bam, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing, man. All you got to do is touch that subscribe button, and just know that when you do that, man, you'll be helping out another veteran, another homeless person, another person dealing with PTSDs, suicidal thoughts, depression, anger, childhood traumatic experiences, drug addiction, alcoholism. You'll be helping people out like that, because I've dealt with all those things, my brothers and sisters. I've dealt with all those things, and I know that by hearing somebody's story, it helped me get out of it. And so, if you please subscribe to my channel and share it. And that the goal is to bring as many people on this side of recovery, positivity, and spirituality that we can. And we can only do that by getting the message out there. And that's why I do it. So again, thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for watching today's episode. Until the next time, when the smoke clears, I am the Recovery Plug.